You go.
Today is March 6th, 1984.
Yep.
This is Joe Todd, an interview with Beulah Ward. Hey, spell Beulah.
Beulah.
I knew I had that wrong.
I have some of it put it Beulah.
Where were you
Make it
born?
longer. When was I born? July the 14th, 1916. Would that make me 67?
I think so. Where were you born?
Here, Lakewire.
Lakewire. Who was your father?
Bill Sims.
Bill Sims. And who was your mother?
Emmy Sims.
I'm sorry?
Emmy Sims. Her name before she married?
Yeah,
Emmy Nix.
Nix. Were they both from Oklahoma?
They met in Chandler, I believe. I've got the old,
Mm-hmm.
their old wedding thing. Married 1911.
What are your first memories of Lakewire?
My first memory of
Yeah.
Lakewire? The railroad track. The railroad track. When I first started school, I don't even remember first starting school.
Who'd they name Lakewire after?
Oh, my Lakewire, didn't they, Emmeline?
Ham
Ham Lakewire. He was a white man.
Hmm.
Did he start the town, Emmeline?
That's what I heard.
What did he do in the Choctaw Nation?
Well, I don't know. Did they run that motel? Lakewire Motel?
Hotel.
It's called a hotel, wasn't it then, I guess?
What kind of work did your father do?
He farmed. We made a living here on this 100 acres.
I guess Lakewire was it a farming town?
Yeah. Everybody raised a little corn, cotton, gardens.
What kind of chores you do around the house?
Here now?
Yeah, no, when you were a little girl.
Oh, we milked cows. And I plowed and worked in the field.
Plowed, walking plow?
Oh, I used a lister or whatever my daddy wanted now.
What'd you raise?
Cotton,
Cotton?
corn,
How about chopping cotton?
black-eyed peas, chopped cotton
How do you chop cotton?
with a hoe.
With a hoe.
With a hoe, if you get it too sharp, and you're liable to cut your toe.
How much could you chop in a day?
Oh gosh, I don't know. We just go down, and chop cotton.
And
We-
how many?
And we raised our sorghum. We had our own sorghum. We had our own sorghum meal.
Oh, did your father make sorghum?
No, we had Jack Hunt made it for half of it. My daddy furnished the cane and all, and Hunt's buckets, and he taken half of the sorghum every night.
Did you ever help him make sorghum?
Oh yeah, we run the plumbing machine.
Well, how do you make sorghum? What do you do?
Well, you have two old horses then, and you just hook them up, hook one old horse up, and he goes around and around, and we have to feed this sorghum in that, and then there'd be one of us kids over here. We would carry the what do you call that, pumpkins? After it run through the mill, all this stuff had to be moved all the time, and then the syrup or juice would run down about from here at the fence into this big long pan, and he would just keep paddling it till it got up the end, and it made the kind of syrup he wanted.
It burned into a cooking pot.
Yeah, there's a big old fire under there.
How long do you have to cook it?
Gosh, I don't know. Or he even had a certain time, and it got as thick as he wanted. They said he made the best molasses.
How many pounds of cotton could you pick in a day?
Well, I don't know when I was here, because, our cotton is different. But in California, I could pick 300 pounds.
What about pulling bowls?
I can't pull bowls.
You can't
I'd starve to death pulling bowls. And I'd have guys to, if we were picking for somebody, I'd take my mom and dad out, when they were in California. And only time they would empty my sack because they didn't think it was all cotton. They couldn't believe that I was picking that much cotton.
So you're a good.
It tickled me for emptying my sack.
So you're a good cotton picker.
I guess you'd call her a good cotton picker.
Do you have any stories about the removal, the Trail of Tears?
No, that's all I know.
And was it your grandmother that came on the trail?
My great-grandmother.
Your great grandmother.
It was my mama's grandmother.
What was her name?
Who, my grandma's name?
The great grandmother.
Yeah, the one that came on the trail.
We called her all the way from Grandma Hunt to Grandma Kinch. But her name is Louise, isn't it?
How you spell Louise?
I wonder if I could have it down somewhere. Hey, Louise, is that the way? Kinch or Hunt? Would that be the way that would be spelled?
I think that's an A.
L-A-U-I-S-E? Louise? Well, did he call her Kinch or Hunt? I've got K-I-N-C-H-E-E. And Hunt, but Hunt was her other married name. And she was a full-blood.
And she came from Mississippi?
I don't know where she came from. I guess so, because it said here that they were drove from there, didn't it? Or did it say? Walked from Mississippi. Said just walked.
Read that. I don't think you put that down.
Yeah, I didn't read that.
Said at the age of 9, you want that?
Yeah.
Just my grandmother and her family walked. Well, how about you just write it down? Probably can understand it better than you can my writing, reading.
At the age of 9, my grandmother and her family walked from Mississippi to Oklahoma along with other Choctaw Indians. Their lands had been taken from them by the white man, and they were promised the state of Oklahoma. They were forced to leave their homes and lands and begin anew in a distant land called Oklahoma.
She said that would be called something else.
In Indian Territory. Written by Norma White as told to me by Emmy Sims, my grandmother, in 1946.
That's when she was going to school in Terabella.
Hmm.
And her teacher kept that. He asked her, could he keep it? I guess he knew more about stuff like that than we knew. He didn't know anything about it.
Now see, Eli,
Yeah, he's got a little story, hasn't he?
that goes right with this. This is why I wanted you to interview him and along with hers.
Mm-hmm.
Because she told him a little more than she told my mama.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
What kind of game do you play as a child?
Mama Peg. You know why I thought of that? Because I found a knife the other day and I thought, well, wouldn't that make a nice Mama Peg? What us kids used to play.
Mm-hmm.
The corner of the lots or wherever there was a soft spot on the ground.
What kind of toys do you have as a child?
Well, we got pretty good toys, I guess. Doll, rockers.
And if your great grandmother was full-blood Choctaw, what are you?
I'm 4th.
You're 4th. Mm-hmm. And your father, Bill Sims, was a half?
No, everybody thought he was an Indian because he was dark skinned, but underneath he was white. So, I mean, his skin, he couldn't go without shirts or anything.
Yeah.
But a lot of people thought they were Cherokees. Isn't that what Bray's over here trying to say they were?
Mm-hmm.
But now I don't know what he was.
Mm-hmm. When'd you start school?
When did I start? Well, I guess I was about 6 years old when they started in them days.
And where did you start?
Where did I start? At Lakewire.
Lakewire? How many students were in the school when you started?
Well, I guess there was about 25 or 30 in one room. But I don't know how many, because it went to the 12th, didn't it, Emma? Went to the 12th grade when I went to school there.
Mm-hmm. And
It was a pretty well filled up school.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of people.
Who was your favorite teacher?
Mrs. Fry, I believe was her name.
Mrs. Fry.
And she was, she taught, I guess, the second year that I was in school. Mrs. Fry.
Mm-hmm. 1920s. Were there many flappers around here?
Well, I didn't know no flappers. You meant the ones that just get out and flap around? I didn't know of any of them.
Mm-hmm. Let me see. Mm. 1930s. How did the Depression affect you and your family?
1930s. Well, I'd started going with a boy, and he was good in school, but me, I guess I wasn't too good. And we got married in 1932.
What's his name?
Earl Crown. And we lived up there by his folks. And I remember my mama giving me a cow. And they kill the cows they pay you so much to kill a cow.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we killed her. And
Why did they have to kill cows?
I don't know, thought maybe it'd help feed them, I guess.
Isn't it WPA?
No, it had never started, don't think. But it came along just right after when they went showing them how to can, put up beef like that. Can their own beef.
Yeah. Were you involved in those programs at all? Those WPA programs? What about your husband?
No, because I know the last time we lived up here at what was called Liberty Hill. And we just didn't hardly have enough to eat. Now my folks, they had something to eat. I didn't go hungry. Mm-hmm. And I know I helped Mrs. Williams, and she'd give me skim milk. And then Earl and I, we killed a hog, and the hog wasn't fat enough that it wouldn't even fry. Couldn't even eat it. So my husband, he left and went to California. And then he left in, I don't know, but I left here right after. I guess he left in August. He left in September sometime. And then when he got the money, he sent for me, and I called Fort Smith and Western. I used to run through here. And I rode that train to Oklahoma City, and I thought California was going to be warm. I didn't have my daughter enough clothes. I don't know where I didn't have them or why I didn't take them. I didn't have no coat. But when we got in Oklahoma City, it was real cold. And there was a girl, I guess maybe she was going to Fort Smith for that school, and she must have been going home. And I didn't know how to get from the train to the depot, so she said she would help me. Said her mother was going to pick her up, that they would take me to the bus station. And when they came back, when her mother come out, her mother had a suitcase with me, some clothes and a baby, some blankets and stuff. Now, who is that woman? I'd like to thank her. Whoever it was really nice. Because I was just 17 years old, but I had that baby and thought I was grown, I guess. Knew all the answers.
What about doing laundry when you were still at home? How'd you do laundry?
We did it on the washboard. And I did it after I was married.
Inside or outside?
Outside, lots, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
We'd go down to a little, Mama would go clear down here to a little, I thought was, what you call those springs?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'd go down there a hot part of July and have the old wash pot down there and do the washing way down there. Lived right here. And we have washed. She has washed over there in Mountain Fort. I guess maybe the spring would dry up. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we'd wash over there.
Did you use homemade soap?
Yeah.
Did you make it?
No, my mother did.
How'd
But
you make it?
She just used cracklings and lye and water and put it in a wash pot and cooked it outside.
How long would you cook it?
Well, until, I don't know how long. It seemed to me like she'd be out there all day, but till, and then she'd let it sit out so it would get hard and you could cut it out.
Mm-hmm. Did you help with the butchering hogs?
Yeah, we would help cut up the grease.
Render it?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you have to let the hog cool out before you cut it?
I don't know, unless it would to get that smell off of them, fresh smell, Some of them do. Yeah.
How did your husband cure the meat?
Well, we never did have any. But my daddy would cure it in a smokehouse.
How'd he do it?
Well, he just put just regular salt and sometimes he would put hot pepper. That would just keep the flies away from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we ever use. But there's lots of people who use different methods. But that was all we could afford would be the salt. I guess it was cheaper.
Did he ever build a fire under it and smoke?
Oh yeah, after you hung it. Mm-hmm.
How long did it take to smoke?
Oh, a long time. We didn't mind. Have to be in a tight place. Now they've got cement blocks. Look like people could have all kind of good meat. But our weather is different, don't you think? Because you know, I guess. Our weather is so different. One day it's hot here and then cold. But years ago you had more of, I guess, the same temperature.
Mm-hmm.
And talking about Grandma Hunt, she used to come to see us and she would make us this year timfulla, what do you call it?
That's it.
And Papa made her a round block, dug a hole out in it, and he would fix her timfulla, or she would.
How'd she make that?
Well, she would just take raw corn and take this big old malt thing she beat with until she got it into little grains, and then she had a basket, and then she'd, get all this husk out of it. And it was good. And then she had made, I don't know where she parts this corn first, but I remember we had a big old heater, and she'd put this corn in there and parch it. Mm-hmm. You think she beat that after she parched it and get the husk off of it. I didn't like that, but that was another Indian dish that they cooked.
Did you fix it in a drink or?
No, she just cooked it and we just eat it. And we'd go see her and she kept hickory nuts and all that good stuff to eat.
What's the blue bread? What's that called?
Banaha.
Banaha. Ever make that?
No, even over to go see our grandma. I don't know why. Grandpa Nix and maybe my daddy had something to do with it, but we hardly ever got to go see him. And when they did, if we did get to go and eat with them, I remember being over there one time, and they had real white tablecloth on, and they wouldn't eat with us. We had to eat by ourselves.
How come?
Well, I guess 'cause my mother was married to Papa, and he was a white man. That's the only reason I know. That's the way they done it.
Yep. What about home remedies that your mother used, your grandmother?
She used whiskey.
Whiskey. What for?
For her cough. She had a cough.
Any herbal medicines that she'd mix up that you remember?
No. I can remember Mama telling us that Grandma had a headache, and she went to this witch doctor, they call him, or chief or what, and she said that he would stick a pin in her forehead and it would bleed a little bit and cure her headache. I don't know where that was, I guess it was sore. My grandma wouldn't have told it, would she? But any herbs, I can't think of any. It's like sassafras tea. Everybody makes that. In fact, I got some, but I haven't got it made. But that's good for you. But for medicine, I don't know. Well, I guess it's a medicine. It's a blood thinner, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sassafras. Yeah.
What were you doing on December 7th, 1941?
Gosh, I don't know. That was during World War II.
That's Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah. Oh, I was in San Francisco, I think, just about that time when they would blow those whistles, sirens, and to have you turn out all the lights. I know we got caught one night, and my husband said, well, we just live right around the corner, Coy. So we just live right around the corner. And he said, well, you can drive home, but don't turn your lights on.
What did you do during the war? Did you do any work for the war effort?
Yeah, I watched for airplanes. I don't know how they don't do that anymore, but I remember they had this big tall building. I don't remember where it's a water tower. You had to have the water up high in California. And I would watch for the airplanes. If one went over, well, you'd tell if it's 2-engine, 3-engine.
How often did you do this?
Seemed to me like I did it a long time. It was just volunteer work.
Well, do it every day or what?
Oh, I'd do it so many days, say 3 days, and then somebody else would do it. And on and on like
And
that.
how long during the day? 2 hours, 4 hours, or?
Oh, I'd say anyway 4. Maybe longer.
Yeah, and
Because I'd be gone all day.
Were you on top of this building doing it?
No, it was in a water well. I mean, a well house.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like they used to have.
Okay. How many women were doing that?
Well, I'd say anyway about 6 or 7 around in that little old community, say. Who all they could get.
Were you out there when that Japanese submarine attacked Santa Monica or wherever it was?
No, we had moved down to Terrabella's where we watched the airplanes.
Where is that?
Terrabella. It's between Bakersfield and Fresno, I'd say, wouldn't you?
How come you were in California?
Well, I told you I rode that Fort Smith and Western out here in 1930.
And your husband go out there to find work or what?
Yeah. And then, of course, I came back on that train, and then my folks moved to Ardmore. And then I went back to California, and that's where I met my husband, Coy Ward. And that's when we were at Sacramento when all this stuff was going on.
Tell me about when the war ended. World War II?
World War II ended.
What was that day like?
V-Day.
Yep,
V-Day.
VJ Day and VE Day.
Well, I guess it was just wonderful. The boys was coming home.
The big celebrations where you were?
Looked like I could remember, but I think they would been. Because I probably went out and celebrated too.
Have you been told, beside this one Choctaw story you have you heard anything else about?
The end.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Is this your mother's original allotment?
Mm-hmm. It's 100 acres.
How big were the allotments?
Gosh, I don't know. I could get that thing and find out.
Did everybody get the same amount of land, or
They were supposed to, weren't they?
when is the land allotted? What year?
Would it been in 19 and would it been when my mama got her roll number?
Should have been.
It was 1908, wasn't it? Oh, I wrote it down something where I wrote out, and then whatever they said about it, maybe in a different Bible than this one. Capital payment, 5 civilized tribes. Well, where did I write that down? William Hunt. Well, that's that guardian thing. Well, them be on that paper, don't you know, that I got from Gus Nix?
Mm-hmm. So,
This goes back into the white people. I mean, the way his dad, Mama's daddy done her. But will it tell on here where her land was at in mine? I've got that same week.
yeah, anyway. So somewhere where, what land they're talking about.
You know, we gotta sing it. Now here is what when you got up there at Callister. I think this is about
Yeah,
my,
this is just the description, it doesn't tell, what year. What year.
here's what I was trying to find. About
Okay.
Mama.
Female, 1/2. Census number 2454.
Would that been about the time she got
Yeah.
the land?
Should have been. Because it was under the Dawes Commission.
I think I was trying to get my birth certificate, and you know, my mama always signed her name Emmy. And then whenever I sent my birth certificate, it was Emmy, E-M-M-A. Well, they couldn't find it on the record. And I don't remember how they finally found it, but that was what this,
Yeah.
how come we know about that? Calculated. No, this is really. Yeah, her age as of September 25th, 1902, was 7 years of age. We hope this information is benefit.
You have any questions? I have. What to do with it?
Not much of a story.
Cuba.
Huh?
Didn't you work on the NYA?
No, my
Oh,
twin
you
sister
did.
did. See, I had left here and need her to tell the story because I left here during that.
Mhm.
Well, it was bad out there.
Huh?
Worse there than it was here. But I was there, so. But my sister, maybe, I think she finally got on something that was going around here.
When did you move back to Oklahoma?
1936.
36.
And see, we left here in 1936, went to Ardmore. So that's when I didn't know Emmeline when she was growing up, and several of them.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't go to school long enough to know very many.
You said that you used to use a lister. How do you do that? How do you use it?
Well, you use a lister to throw up a bed. You go down one side and then you go back on the other, and it makes. Then my brother, I had to help Papa.
Ever use a walking plow?
That's what they were. And hire, you walk behind a hire.
How many acres did you plow in one day?
Well, I don't know. We just have a little block there.
Did you like plowing with horses or mules?
Oh, I believe I like the mules.
How come?
Oh, they're just smaller and easy to handle. The big old horse is clumsy.
I've heard the term clodhopper.
Clodhopper. That people at farms would be called a clodhopper.
Have you heard the origin of that?
Yeah.
What is it? Have you?
Oh, I thought you meant had I
No.
heard the word clodhopper.
Yeah.
You know, we had a pretty good living off of this farm. You know, our daddy did real good. We always had our own meat. We had our own cows. Not like it was after, as I say, I got married and went to California. Yeah, I told him I never seen a tent till I went to California. Because we didn't, you know, we couldn't dress or do nothing like that. My mother made our dresses out of cotton picking sacks after we had picked cotton. And, but as I say, we had plenty to eat. And I guess we didn't go cold.
Mm-hmm. Was there anything that you didn't like about farming?
I didn't like to hire
You didn't.
the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's tiresome. You're liable to get to sleep and step in the hire. You gotta keep alert.
What'd you call it?
Hire.
Hire.
You know, it's got forks on it. Hire.
It's HARROW.
Oh,
But
harrow.
everyone here calls hire.
Oh, I was gonna say okay.
We'd milk a whole mess of cows, and I guess we'd get a gallon of milk. But it helped.
Mm-hmm.
We separated the milk, sold the cream, give the milk then to the hogs.
Gave the milk to the hogs.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't keep it.
No, because we had plenty of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't drink separate milk. We always had to have the whole milk. So there'd be a certain cow we'd just milk for our whole milk.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you.
Yeah. I don't know much of a history, but
Everything
Good
helps.
enough.
fix you guys a glass of Kool-Aid or something.
I wouldn't care for any. I just
I'd be around her.
think
Like Grandma. Grandma wanted to send her to school, I was told, and he didn't want her to go.
Where?
My grandma wanted to send her to the Indian school.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Mama talk about that.
And your grandfather didn't want her to go to Indian school.
He was white. Grandfather.
Yeah. Did your mother or grandmother ever say why the parents didn't want the kids to be brought up in the Indian culture?
I guess it's because, well, the whites didn't want to get mixed up with the Indians. The Indians didn't want to get mixed up with the whites, would that be? But I know my granddad, he didn't want Mama to visit Grandma. But yet, you know, they lived on their place. Even Mama's daddy's mama lived right down here.
Yeah.
But Mama said she was good to her. And, you know, she tried to get Paul there to tell Mama go see Grandma, but he wouldn't.
When did your grandmother die? What year?
1934. Oh, my great grandma, one that walked through tears, 1934. But on her tombstone over there, she died at 64. But she was a lot older than that. Well, they got her younger than Grandma Nix. So if you ever go there and look at the tombstone, it don't make any difference because somebody has sure fixed things.
Are there any customs, like burial customs, that are unique to the Choctaws?
Well, there used to be. Emily could tell you more about that. But I don't remember. All I remember is going to a cry, but that was because why? They had done died? Someone had just died or what? I know Mama and I went over here to Rocky Point, and that was just right after Grandma died. I mean, just before Grandma died, she had went there, and Mama said she had to stop and rest because she couldn't make it back.
And you call that?
The vine crop. Waited till a certain day, and then the chickens got in and scratched it out. I'm not going to go by these signs no more.
So you don't plant by the signs anymore?
I don't think I will. It was the first time I tried it. But as I say, the chickens scratched them out.
What kind of fertilizer your father use on the farm?
We never fertilized. We in the fall, we got the cotton and stuff picked. The cows would just graze that off. I guess that's all fertilizer had. But those days, they didn't pasture them, like they do now. I guess that's why the pastures are so short. There's so many cows and not enough pasture. And nothing to grow on to stir up that ground. Sometimes I think if they would work that ground, every so often, look like it'd help it. It would. It just gets packed and just runs off down there in Turkey Creek. I don't remember that.
I don't recall the men part of it at all. I remember the women.
Well, is that when they'd have them feed? Would cook this beef down in the ground? Maybe that's what the men did.
There was a lot of social affair. They would cook meals and all eat together and be with the family, of the deceased. But I don't understand it all because, I only heard about it. I remember this one time we went to Mount Fork Church, and they had one.
Was that what this was called up here, the road? Mountain Fork? I didn't know what it's called. That's where I went to at one time. I wish I had something to say, but I
Well,
just don't.
Thank you.